Shout out to all fellow content creators, especially those that inspired this video. I want to say mainly to Top Rope Zeus, who's been doing his things for a good minute. Red Sings the Blues. Excellent fence sitting commentary. And I also want to extend my shout out to the brother of the Wacky World of OTV. You brothers, among a few, have inspired this video. And we're going to talk about the necessity of bandwidth. So now, let's get into it. The definition first. Bandwidth. It's a noun, a range of frequencies within a given band, in particular, that used for transmitting a signal. But I want you to pay attention to the second definition. The energy or mental capacity required to deal with a situation. This is key in this conversation, which I'll go into a little bit. Now, I'm sure you heard the word B.A.N, which I'm going to break down in my own way. B.A.N is an acronym. In other words, I would say it softly, bitch ass ninja. The real term is implied. By definition, is a guy devoid of testicular fortitude, nor the needed traits, mindset, actions, and commitment to be deemed respectable as a solid man. Courtesy of the Urban Dictionary, but it's been revised by myself. Or in a Latin term, which I came with my own. Hobo in rutis, Latin for null, ineffectual, ineffective, void, vain, more importantly, powerless. I'm tying all these things together to answer a statement and a question. You are not only what you consume, yet what you readily and consistently adjust your frequency to. Now, many times over, I have always said, and myself, including others like myself, we talked about a stern difference between actual content creators versus conflict creators. Now, the definitions are not limited to this space, but abroad. When it comes down to the conversation, every day in this space mainly, you will have individuals who live on this raggedy ass market or Ponzi scheme, however you view it, in SBE, which happens to be shame, blame, and explain. But by definition, as men, we're meant to oppose environment. And we talk about the frequency, which I said, bitch ass ninja. We talk about the level or the energy or the mental capacity required to deal with the situation among many. Now, what gets lost in translation is the D. How do you define that? You see, you notice when the bandwidth or bitch ass ninja bandwidth is at too high, meaning their testicles are basically touching their tonsils. You start seeing that there's a lowercase d. Most individuals lead the thinking to their little head, but more importantly, their discernment is in lowercase. You notice how they lack the needed emotional intelligence, again, discernment, the proper leadership skills to navigate and adjust and to properly oppose the environment as we are meant to do or built to do. However, as we allow our testicles to hang, which we say the needed verse, untucketh thy nuts, our frequency is at the right adjustment. We learn how to adjust our frequency to where we keep the bands out of our width, the bitch ass ninjas. Those who are able to do that consistently, the D is a big D. Now, I'm not talking about the D that you had in mind at first, even though some women will prefer a certain size. We're talking about that big D that's important, discernment. Not just of the situation, but of yourself. How you move. Not just physically, but in your direction, in your actions, your thinking process. Because as always, if your actions, words, and intent don't work in concert, it is all bullshit. Not just verbally, what you see online with a bunch of keyboard cowards who like to hide behind avatars and, talk strong at a distance. But when it comes to being that man adjusting your bandwidth, you not only adjust your movements, but you adjust the audience of who you allow to tune into you. See, those with a very weak bandwidth, you come on too strong. They aspire to get more numbers to oppose you. But when you have a strong bandwidth, you bring more like-minded and those inspired by your words and your actions and your intent to tune into you with much clarity. There's something about you that feeds them, feeds their soul, gives them the needed word of the day. But when you're a bitch-ass ninja, you have the same repetitive rotation. Punani politics, Pookie and Ray Ray arguments, and other bitch-ass ninja conversations. Very circular, poorly linear. And when it comes to your leadership, it's outright flaccid. But when you strengthen your bandwidth, you're able to reach a broader audience because of your range and how you move and the cadence of your voice and the authority of your choices, be it verbal, mental, and all things pertaining as men. So again, I want to say this in closing. You are not only what you consume, yet what you readily and consistently adjust your frequency to. And this summer, this interesting summer, which is supposed to be a summer of substance, personally, that is my adjustment to the frequency. Instead of pissing and moaning and worried about punani politics, you use that level of discernment to tune out bullshit while broadcasting the real shit. Not just on this platform, but in this vessel, broadcasting the frequency of what's in there and in here. That says a whole lot. That's the difference between getting picked up for another season and getting left behind for a whole heap of reasons. But as always, never allow your comfort zone become your coffin. And as we shall see in the coming days, months, and years, fellas, what's going on right now, your discernment or lack thereof will literally become a life or death decision among many. Be safe. Be careful. And think with the right hand. Semper Fi. Peace.